Hey there, Starlight here. I'm so delighted that you've decided to join me today. I am sharing with you the workbook that I use with my clients in all of my programs to help them lock in on their undeniable messaging. It is a quick way for you to skip the existential crisis of trying to figure out the right verbiage that is focused around your target customer and gets you something short, clear, and punchy, but related to the transformation that you deliver, all in one nifty little worksheet. Wherever you might be seeing this video, there is a worksheet that goes with this, and if you want a copy, you might be able to opt in. If there's no place to opt in, leave a comment down below that says messaging, and I'll make sure that you get a copy sent to you. So let's talk about undeniable messaging and why it's so impactful, right? There's a few indications for me as a strategist that help me know somebody is struggling with their messaging in their business. One, their sales are a little meh, right? If their sales have kind of like either they sell and they're not getting any fish, or they're selling and they're not getting as many as they would expect, those are usually indicators that, like, okay, messaging is the place I would want to start. Usually that's an indication that there's a mismatch between their messaging and the way that their target customer perceives what it is that their customer actually wants and desires. A real clear indicator that your messaging needs a little work is when your clients who get done with your program refer other people to you, but those people aren't a good fit for you. Or they describe what you did for them in their testimonial as something that is completely unrelated to how you helped them, right? You've allowed them to sort of fill in the blanks on what they think you do versus what you do, right? And then there's just the insecurity of not knowing if you're using your client's language and wanting to make sure that you totally nail it, right? What do we really want actually when we have undeniable messaging? I mean, we want undeniable messaging that's just so tasty, you can't say no. The first is to have a message that is so clear that it rings the bell of your target customers. When they hear it, they know that you're speaking to them and they come running, right? They know that you're the person with the solution. The second is that we don't really like that salesy bullshit language, right? And so sometimes it's tough in our marketing where we want to put who we are into the context and be creative and articulate something without sounding like a schmuck. It's a little tough for us to have messaging that lands on that. So what we're really aiming for here today is language that doesn't sound schmucky. And then the third part is having people get referred to your program knowing exactly that they're a good fit already before they show up, right? Qualifying your customers isn't just about qualifying them before they work with you, it's about giving them the opportunity to qualify themselves. And your messaging is one great way to make that happen. Now, we're going to dive into this workbook today. As I mentioned, this is the exact workbook I use with my clients, and that's really the meaty bit of this workshop. If you don't have time to do this right now, pause the video and come back because we're diving into the workbook. There are 3 things that I want you to avoid as we dive in. The first is using foofy language. If you're in the metaphysical space, if you are a healer, sometimes we talk about human transformation in this hyper elevated way. Spiritual people can relate and understand spiritual language, but spiritual seekers may not understand that language yet because they're not in the world of our spiritual seekers. When we use language that's too foofy, meaning not specific, meaning not tied to a way that a normal person thinks and speaks, we are alienating people who might be a perfect fit for our service because we're using vocabulary that they don't have. The second is we are not talking about features today. So if you dive in and start telling me, oh, there's hours of course content and Zoom calls and no, we're talking about the wrong thing. So no feature talk today. This is just about the promise that you are making to your target customers. And then third, and this is kind of related to foofy language, but this is for the experts in the group who have the habit to talk about their work as an expert with elevated language and have a tendency to get buzzwordy. You have a massive education in what you do. You've been doing it for a long time. That's not the language that we want to use in this particular context because it comes from an educated professional place, whereas our customers might be coming from a different place and have different language in their head. The whole idea of this workbook is to bring into alignment how your customers think, feel, and actually want things and the solution that you offer to give them language that fits right down the middle, that matches what you say you're going to do with what they actually want. Okay, let me share with you a little bit of a way of thinking that will help you come about this at a different way than you usually do. Usually when we start with our messaging, we start with us. Let's take a winemaker, for example. A winemaker has the farm. He has the types of grapes that he's growing. He's worried about the weather and the seasons and the rain and all of the animals that might be eating his crops. He's worried about the staff that creates the wine and the technology that makes the wine ferment correctly, and the bottle makers and the labels and the everything. And when you ask a winemaker to describe the wine that they've made, they often describe it encompassing so many of these details, because for them, wine is this highly multifaceted, many-part moving machine. The same thing goes for you. When you've created a program or a community or a membership, you've thought about all the content you're going to put in it. You've been making videos and recordings and social media posts and getting your virtual assistant to do this and building a sales page and a cart funnel and the tech and the conversion. Oh my God, it is a never-ending process. So when somebody comes and asks you about your program, you have a tendency to describe your program in a way that encompasses all of those details. And that's not what resonates with the person who wants to drink the wine, right? What I want when I drink the wine is what? What do I do when I go into the store? I pick up the wine bottle and I take a look at the label. Yeah? Because the label tells me the things I want to know. Is this a wine that I'm going to like? Is it from a region I'm familiar with? Am I curious about the combination of flavors? And asking a wine creator to tell you about their wine is often overkill when all we really need is the label. I like to say that we are often, as the creators of our program, trying to describe the wine from the inside of the bottle, right? And what we really want is a label that helps your target customers know that what's inside of the bottle is what they want. Yeah? Some of us have a tendency, we might be talking about me here, I don't know, especially if you're a multi-potentialite, if you're somebody who's had a lot of roles, wears a lot of hats, does a lot of amazing things for the people in your life. You may have difficulty coming up with a simple message because you feel like you have to put that message on yourself, and that often can feel way too small for who you really are and what you can really do. Totally reasonable to feel that way. We're not encompassing the complexities of who you are and the absolute impact that you can have in somebody's life and trying to put that in a bottle or put a label on that today. We're trying to very simply communicate in no uncertain terms, in our customers' language, what we can do for them so that when they hear it, they can come to you and go, yes, I want to be here and receive all that you have to offer, right? And so if you feel yourself getting a little twingy about like, oh, this doesn't articulate who I really am, it's okay. Just let that pass, right? Today, this exercise is not about us really at all. And so we're going to dive in and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. If you want to join me with the PDF, we're going to do this really quick. So in this lovely workbook called Undeniable Messaging, we've got a couple really quick little exercises that we're going to do to bang through to land on our message. I'm going to move through this pretty quickly because I would like to not spend my whole day doing this workbook with you, and I don't want this video to get very long. But if you have questions as you're going through this, feel free to DM me or tag me on social media, anywhere you feel like, to get further insights, yeah? Okay, so first things first, what's my specialty? This is how I would define myself, right? We're going to focus right now, this particular page is about finding your core currency. Core currency is a fancy way of saying the thing that your customers think is the most desirable thing that you offer, right? So while I might say, I'm a business strategist and I focus on community, right? Now, for people whose world that is, they might not know exactly what that means right out of the gate, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get really nitty-gritty on two levels. What does my service increase and what does my service decrease? right? I know that my service increases, we'll say confidence, more members, more recurring revenue, more free time. What else? I need to stop saying because my little video editor thing is going to be like, you said a lot during this, but I was filling out a worksheet, man. Let's see. What else does this have? Okay, well, let's pop over to what it decreases. I know that it decreases overwhelm, member churn. Oops, I'm doing it again. I'm doing the Obama. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what he says. Anyways, I'm tired, so I'm including crappy Obama impressions in my worksheets. Okay, my service decreases overwhelm, member churn, system, I would say like tech overwhelm, confusion. Oh, you know, some other things that my service really brings to the table is like increases community culture and the strength of that community. That's a little buzzwordy in there, right? That's a little experty language. We'll talk about. You can point that out and go, ooh, and you'll see how we don't use it later. Let's see, customer lifetime value. That's a big one. The thing is I know that is strategist language and not necessarily customer language. My customers, once they know what customer lifetime value is, they definitely want it, but I can't assume that they'll all want it when they see it. And then let's see, decreases, member churn. Oh, we could say community engagement, member conflicts, right? Now, if I was a fitness coach, I could say my service increases physical health, well-being, energy. My service decreases weight, sluggishness, etc., right? You fill these in with what it is. And then where you can, because not all things are measurable, but where you can, go back and see if there's a specific metric and timeline that you can assign to the results. So community engagement, that's not really, okay, customer lifetime value, that's not language that my customers care about, so I'm not going to dive into that. More free time, that's kind of amorphous. How much is free time for one person versus another? More recurring revenue, I know that maybe not for everybody, but I've gotten a 60% increase in monthly recurring revenue during a contract. I've had some others like more or less, you know, that could go up or down. More members, I could say, out of the majority of the programs where I've helped my clients launch, we've like brought in some good numbers, right? New members. And if we add this a timeline, we could say in 90 days, right? Confidence is kind of hard to measure. Member churn, we could say reduced by X%. The thing is not everybody struggles with member churn. Tech overwhelm is kind of hard to measure. Confusion is hard to remember. Okay, so I've got a list of what I would say things my service increases, things my service decreases. The goal of this page right here is to identify the one that is the most valuable and impactful to my customers. Now, part of that is what is measurable. So I know that we're down to like member churn, which again, some clients may know what that is, some may not. They might not know their own member churn. And reducing it by a percentage may be hit or miss because some clients may have high member churn, some members may have low member churn. So reducing it by 70% may or may not be applicable depending on the client. But what I can say, recurring revenue, a 60% increase, that's really dope, but I don't know if I can promise that to everybody because it kind of depends on the pricing of their program, et cetera, et cetera. But what I can say is for most of my clients who have a community, if they have the key ingredients in place before they come to me, I can wring 250 new members out of their audience in 90 days. That's pretty tasty. If you get to this exercise and you're having just the worst time trying to decide what your core currency is, the thing that is the most valuable. All of these things are useful in how you'll use your sales pages and marketing down the road, but this is what is the core one, what is the thing that we're driving forward with. You can pick 2 or 3 and create a Facebook poll or an Instagram poll and see what people say that they want the most. And let me say this, the one that they want the most is the one that gets the highest votes with the least amount of follow-up questions. Follow-up questions means that I would have to answer a lot of questions in order to prove that particular point. And we can't do that at this level. That's why we're picking the core currency. We're picking the one that moves the needle. Hi, Booch. My dog is coming to bother me. Okay, so I'm going to go with 250 new members in 90 days. I'm going to say that's my big currency. We could also just say this very nicely as like mo members, right? Okay. This next page here is where I'm going to dive into what I know and understand about my target customer. If you struggle with your target customer research, this is not the exercise to do. It's time to go back, do some more ideal client avatar research, do more exploration around that. If this is something that you're looking to create, but you haven't asked yourself these questions before, I suggest going back through any sales conversation notes where you were speaking with a prospect and looking at what they said, because they will tell you these things. These are not things that you're going to make up inside your head. These are things that they're going to tell you. So if I told my client today, give me 90 days and I'll get you 250 new members in your business, what are they most likely to tell me are the biggest obstacles between them and those results? It's probably going to be tech systems. There's always something going on with tech, whether they need a new platform or new communication or something, or my this or my that doesn't work. Overwhelm with regular stuff and time availability. Those are pretty common, right? Busy business owners don't have so much time and they've already got a lot of stuff going on. So how are they going to commit to 90 days? Oh my God, that seems like a lot. Will I have the time to do it? Let's see here. I would also say there's program confusion. This is usually around, is my price right? I want to upgrade the program content. I'm not sure how to present, package my program, right? Those are things I know are core obstacles to somebody just turning around and going, you know what, I could get 250 new members today. There needs to be systems to keep them from getting overwhelmed. They need to have the time and energy to do the activities that are involved, or they would worry that they don't have the time and energy to do the activities that 250 new members would create, and they have program confusion. Go ahead and take a minute and do this for yourself. Pause the video and think about what your client's 3 main obstacles or 3 things that they would say, oh, God, if I had that, I would need to fix all this other stuff first. That's what we're looking for. I'll pretend that you paused. Boop, and then we're coming back. Yeah? Okay. So now let's think about what happens if they don't solve this problem. Okay, I know that they're suffering from probably member churn, overwhelm, tech stuff, etc. So big growth will always be a worry, because if they don't have the systems in place and they don't have clarity and if we did just turn around and give them 250 members, that might actually be a big problem for them. Hi, Booch. What? Okay, I'm going to show you my doggy just because my doggy is pretty cute. Where's the video thing? Where is that? Here, you want to see? You want to see my Booch? Where is it? This is my Boochoo. Oh, Boochoos. What a good boy. Yeah. Okay, that's enough dog video time. So unprofessional, Starlight. Oh my gosh. Okay, you gonna watch? All right. Okay, so what will their life be like if they don't solve this problem? Big growth is always going to be kind of a worry. Without systems in place, there's always this worry that, like, if I got a big influx of things, all the stuff that I have in place may or may not handle it. I don't have onboarding. I don't have email marketing, right? Like, oh God, how would I do that? Second, if they don't solve this problem, declining recurring revenue because churn, because member conflicts, because they get frustrated with it and they don't want to do it anymore. Growing frustration is another one. We've got costs to them not solving this problem right now. That's what this is really about. Now, we know that they're my client's biggest goal. The one thing they always say when they get on the call, what is the one thing your clients always say when they get on the call? More members. Plain and simple. I want to grow my community. Often they want to take their community to the next big number, right? That's usually why they start talking to me in the first place. Now, if I were to turn around and give them all the systems and all the support and all the clients and all the growth that they wanted, what are they really dreaming about? Like, what do they want in a big, big way down the road? For my clients, because they're creating community, that's massive impact, man. They want a message that they are known for and leaving a legacy of good. Plain and simple. A lot of people do this in different ways, but if you're a coach, an expert, a thought leader, a podcaster, an author, a published creator, in many ways, with some intent to leave a mark on the world for good, you're probably likely to be a good fit as my client. And I know that because I like to work with people who are trying to have massive impact in the world, right? And then what will life be like when they achieve these results? More members, they hit their goals, right? Usually they will say, oh God, finally I will have free time to focus on other priorities. Those priorities might be their family, their kids, having just more time to follow their interests, having more free time to focus on other things that they want to build, whatever it might be. I know that they will have enough money to hire more staff so that they don't have to spend so much time working on and doing it all themselves, whatever that might mean. You see how we're kind of going through and doing this? Okay. Pause for a sec and just go through and do this for yourself really quick, right? This should be more or less pretty straightforward for you, especially if you're regularly speaking with your target customers. Yeah? Okay. And we'll go to the next page. This is where we start taking everything that we've just put together and getting real nitty gritty with it down to a simple message. This is not about improvisation. This is about fitting into the framework. If you can lock this in and get this to a place where it sounds reasonable to you, then you can improvise and take it to the next level. But here, we're going to keep it real frickin' basic. So I help community, we'll do membership owners, add 250, we'll say grow their membership by 250 new members so they can have more recurring revenue and free time, without manage all the tech themselves. Whatever, right? We're throwing the quick and dirty, we'll refine it as it gets better. Now, part of the reason I know that this $1 million message works is because if I remove everything and I just say membership owners get what they want, it sounds like a punchy tagline, right? So if I could say we'll go back to community owners, add 250 new members in 90 days. Imagine there's the title of my program, The Community Accelerator, how community owners add 250 new members in 90 days. Wow! Like right to the results, who I'm speaking to, and the promise. Straightforward, super simple. If you're not a community owner, you're going to read that and go, oh, this isn't for me. If you're a community owner, you're going to look at 250 new members in 90 days and go, wow, this might be perfect for me. If you're a community owner who's hit 10K, you probably don't care about 250 new members, and we're going to deal with you in a whole other marvelous way, and this program might not be at your level. You feel me? Like, we've spoken directly to the people who are looking to hit specific goals, and we've given them a juicy number that is more or less attainable to anybody who's already got a community going. And if they're over 500 members, I could probably say they have the assets in place to get another 250 in 90 days by trusting my system, right? And putting some other things in place. Now, I could go on and on about how my program is a 9-step thing, and we talk about culture, and we talk about retention, and we talk about customer lifetime value, and how we assess your program. And like, my program is by no means a teeny tiny little floofy. This is a serious program that gets serious results. But I very clearly made it punchy and communicated directly to who I'm speaking to and what I promised them, so that if they're not resonating with this statement, they're not a good fit for the program. It doesn't really matter what's inside my program, right? Now, this is where you can kind of make the promise of your particular service. So I take my clients from dealing with high churn and slumpy growth, yeah, to consistent growth and strong communities with my dope ass program that helps them put systems in place for massive impact while achieve core currency. Add 250, stick with the formula, right? In 90 days. Love this. What if you could, this is the program promise. I can say this in like a social media post or in a reel. What if you could add 250 new members in 90 days? Inside my program, we'll work together through my amazing signature system. That means getting so many members without struggling with all the BS, right? I'm not going to go through all of the rest of this because we're getting a little lengthy and I want to bring this to a beautiful finish. But the other part of this last message also speaks to the level of transformation, right? So at the end of my program, community owners will feel confident in the program that they offer. They will know that they have killer messaging. They will know exactly how to grow their membership anytime that they need to, and they'll have the systems in place to do it. They'll be able to get more, right? You see how like now I've taken everything, girl, everything I do inside of my program is ridiculous. We didn't touch on any of that today. We just honed in on what is the promise. And when somebody asks you what's the promise of your program, I want you to be able to say, I help membership owners get this result, right? Without struggling from that thing. I can guarantee you get this if you do everything I say. That's another fun way of putting it, is like, if you did absolutely everything that I told you to do for the next 90 days, I could promise you X. Yeah? Okay. That's enough on the worksheet, bees. Take this worksheet and do it for yourself. If you didn't do it right now, you could literally get this done in the next 15 or 20 minutes. Just a few reminders. Be simple, be clear. You see, I didn't use a lot of really technical language. I didn't talk about in depth about my program. It was really about the customer's obstacles, the customer's desires, and their long-term vision, while touching on the level of problems that they're having, right? I have a clear list of what my services increase and decrease. I picked out of that increase and decrease the one thing that I think my customers would find the most exciting, but I'm going to use and touch on all of those points throughout the process of my copy and my content, but in the context of like creating an undeniable message and a promise that just cannot be shaken. We didn't start with like who you are and your brand, or no, girl, we just brought it down to who do you promise, what do you promise, can you deliver, right? When you have this perfected, then you can improvise, right? Jazz musicians don't become good jazz musicians because they improvise all the time. Imagine handing a saxophone to somebody who doesn't know how to play and telling them to play. It would be terrible. Boo, horrible, awful music. Don't improvise on this format until you've locked it in and you've gotten really clear about your core currency. Once you've gotten your core currency, once you can use these statements and they roll off your tongue at ease, then we can add juicier brand specific language that makes sense for you, and you can make it more personal, right? Perfect it, then improvise. Download the workbook, fill it out, test your variations if you need to. You can create real simple posts on LinkedIn or Facebook that go, which of these sounds the juiciest? This one, or this one? You can also take this same information, fire it into ChatGPT, and ask for a bunch of different variations as well. Like, you've got a lot here to move forward on, but this comes from your expertise in understanding your customers and will translate into their being able to go, oh, this person is speaking to me and this is a thing that I want. It's very straightforward. The cool thing about this exercise is once you get good at it, you can do it for any new product that you come out with effortlessly. I jump right to the headline tagline anytime I'm sketching out a new idea. Brilliant idea to make a lot of money. How these people get these results. And if I can't keep it crispy and clear at that point, I know I have to mull over the message a bit more, and I have to go back to this exercise and get it refined to the point at which I'm very clear on what it is that I'm promising. Because when you're very clear about what you're promising, people hear that clarity and it instills confidence in you and confidence in the offer. That's why this step is so important. Having mushy sales isn't just about like not using the right language. It's about not connecting with what the other person deeply wants and what you have to offer and what you can promise. When you lock in your messaging like this, it brings those two things together so nicely that there's no friction about what people think you can do and what you're actually doing. And that has a waterfall effect of saving you from so many other problems down the road. Okay, that's it today for Undeniable Messaging. Again, hi, if we haven't met before, my name is Starlight. I'm a business growth strategist and community growth specialist. Thank you so much for joining me. Good luck unlocking in your message. I can't wait to see it. And if you want, share it on social media and tag me at iBottleLightning, and we'll talk about it. We'll check it out. Sounds good? All right, ciao.